Volume of daily journal letters submitted by bill authors in the California Legislature. One of the main avenues for California legislators to perhaps clarify their bills or most often to express their intent behind specific pieces of legislation is by submitting a formal letter to either the Assembly Chief Clerk for Assembly bills or the Senate Secretary for Senate bills. Now, once these letters are approved by their respective houses, they're published in either the Assembly Daily Journal for an AB or the Senate Daily Journal for an SB. I've looked back at legislative records for the past 2 decades to locate all these letters and compile them. And as a result, I looked also at the frequency over the last 20 years of these letters being submitted. And I compiled a chart that shows the number of letters published in the respective daily journals in the two houses by year. So starting most recently in 2022, 12 letters in the Assembly and 15 in the Senate for 27 total. In 2021, 16 in the Assembly Journal and 12 in the Senate Journal for 28 in total. In 2020, there were 9 in the Assembly Journal and 11 in the Senate Journal for a total of 20. In 2020, there were 9 in the Assembly Journal and 11 in the Senate Journal for a total of 20. In 2019, there were 27 in the Assembly Daily Journal, 8 in the Senate Daily Journal for a total of 35. In 2018, there were 12 Assembly measures and 16 Senate measures for a total of 28. In 2017, there were 15 in the Assembly Journal, 9 in the Senate Journal for 24 total. In 2016, there were 21 in the Assembly Journal and 7 in the Senate Journal for a total of 28. In 2015, there were 13 in the Assembly Journal and 9 in the Senate Journal for a total of 22. In 2014, there were 11 in the Assembly Daily Journal and 12 in the Senate Daily Journal for a total of 23. In 2013, there were 11 in the Assembly Journal and 7 in the Senate Journal for a total of 18. In 2012, there were a total of 16 in the Assembly Journal, 19 in the Senate Journal for a total of 35. In 2011, there were 21 in the Assembly Journal and 13 in the Senate Journal for a total of 34. In 2009, there were just 7 in the Assembly Journal and 6 in the Senate Journal for a total of 13. In 2008, there were 23 in the Assembly Journal and 12 in the Senate Journal for a total of 35. In 2007, there were 11 in the Assembly and 4 in the Senate for a total of 15. In 2006, there were 23 in the Assembly Journal and 6 in the Senate Journal for a total of 29. In 2005, there were just 7 in the Assembly Journal as well as 7 in the Senate Journal for a total of 14. In 2004, there were 19 in the Assembly Journal and 26 in the Senate Journal for a total of 45. And the highest was back in 2003, a total of 22 in the Assembly Daily Journal and 26 in the Senate Daily Journal, total of 48. So over the last 20 years, there have been 312 letters to the Assembly Daily Journal. The highest was 27 in 2019. There have been, over the last 20 years, a total of 244 letters to the Senate Daily Journal. Twice it's been 26. And so over the last 2 decades, there have been 556 letters to the Assembly and Senate Daily Journals.